They told me I was nothing, a broken omega, a failed mate, a girl who could never shift, who could never be enough. But I believed them, because when they tell you something every day, you start to think it's true. That's how my story begins. Not with a dream, but with a cage. Not with a name, but with a number. 18, the year I was supposed to come alive. Instead, I spent it locked away, alone in a basement, with only a candle and a moldy piece of bread. The silence was louder than anything they said. The cold was deeper than any wound. I used to think hope was something you could hold on to, that if you just waited long enough, someone would come and save you. Maybe a prince, maybe a fairy, but they never came. And when you realize that, when the last shred of hope falls away, you don't just feel the hurt of the world anymore. You feel the sting of having dared to dream at all. Chapter 1. You don't expect anyone to remember your birthday, not when you're the Omega, not when you're locked in the basement, not when your name isn't even spoken unless someone's about to blame you for something, so you whisper it to yourself. 18. It doesn't sound like freedom. You're curled on the mattress, the same torn-up foam pad you've slept on since they shoved you down here. The candle you stole from the kitchen flickers weakly beside you. You didn't even steal it right. Half burned. Smells like old meat and lemon cleaner. Still. It's warm. It's yours. You bite into the piece of cake you made from flour, water, and lies. It tastes like damp air and mold, but you close your eyes and pretend it's vanilla. You try not to cry, because crying means you still want things. Footsteps slam above your head, and that's when you know your quiet little moment is over. You barely have time to blow the candle out before the basement door flies open. Light pours in like an accusation. You squint up into Sienna's smile. She's not alone. Beth, Reed, Jace, of course. Birthday girl, Sienna purrs. Descending the stairs in those ridiculous red heels she only wears when she wants someone to bleed. We thought you might be lonely, Beth cackles behind her. Did she actually try to make a cake again? You wrap your arms around yourself and stay seated on the mattress. If you stand, they'll push you. If you speak, they'll laugh. Jace is already kicking through your things. Not that you have much. A bucket, a folded towel, a drawing your sister made before she... You don't let yourself think of that. Where's your wolf, Calla? Sienna asks, circling you like she's at a petting zoo. You're 18 now, right? Shouldn't she be clawing to come out and play? You don't answer. You feel the ache behind your ribs, though. That low, slow pulse. Like something trying to wake up. She's probably defective, Reed mutters. Maybe she doesn't have a wolf at all. Beth grins. Sienna leans down until her perfume chokes you. Or maybe she's just too weak to handle it. Your fingers dig into the mattress. You can take this. You always do. Then Sienna spots the candle. Oh, sweetie. She picks it up, sniffs it, and fakes a gag. This is just... sad. Before you can blink, she grinds the candle into the floor with her heel. Wax melts into the cracked concrete. And just like that, your last spark of something gone. Alpha wants you upstairs, she says with a smirk. You look up. What? He said you're needed in the hall. For what? You don't ask. You already know. Orders, scrubbing, lifting. Something you're too tired to do, but will. Because if you don't... Beth yanks your arm. You flinch, but follow. The walk up the stairs feels longer than it should. You can still feel wax clinging to your fingers. Your stomach twists, not from hunger, but from shame. The hall is buzzing when you arrive. Warriors, Omegas, pack officials. No one looks at you until he does. Damien Thorne, the Alpha. He stands at the end of the corridor, tall and cold, and entirely made of angles that hurt to look at. His eyes sweep over you like you're a smudge he plans to wipe off the floor. You lower your gaze instantly, but it's too late. You've seen something behind his eyes. Recognition? No, that's impossible. You, he says. His voice is all gravel and command. Clean the corridor, now. You nod, quiet, obedient, always. You kneel, already feeling the bruise forming under your knee. You scrub at nothing just to stay busy. But his scent follows you. And when you look up again, just once, he's still watching. Not with hate, not with curiosity, but with something worse. Something that makes your pulse pound in your throat. Like he knows, like he already chose you and hates that he did. Chapter 2. The First Touch. You're still wiping grime from the walls when his scent hits you. You don't even need to see him. You feel it first. Something in your chest pulls tight, like your ribs are trying to snap toward him. You try to keep your head down. You fail. When you look up, Damien Thorne is standing 5 feet away. Tall, still, silent, watching you like you're not supposed to be there. Not like you don't belong, like you're a puzzle piece that doesn't make sense. You scramble to stand, but your knee slips on the soap slick tile and you land hard on your side. No one laughs, not even him. He just stares, and then he moves. You don't breathe as he crosses the space between you. You can't. It's like your lungs forgot how. He crouches down beside you. You feel the heat rolling off him, the power. And something else, something darker. His hand reaches out. You flinch, but he doesn't hit you. He touches your neck, just one finger dragging slowly over the skin right where your scent gland hides. You know what he's doing. He's scenting you, marking you, claiming you. Except that doesn't make sense. You're not his. You never could be. You're nothing. His eyes narrow. You can feel the tension ripple through him, like his wolf is pacing just under his skin. He leans closer. You smell different. You want to say something, anything, but your mouth won't open. Your entire body is screaming to stay still, like prey. Then his thumb brushes over your pulse, and you tremble. It's not fear, not exactly. It's heat, deep, invasive heat, the kind that settles low and gnaws at the parts of you you've buried. You don't move, but your wolf stirs. She pushes against your skin like she's trying to wake up, but she's not fully there yet, just a whisper. A heartbeat behind. He sees it. You know he does, because his hand freezes, and then he pulls away like he's been burned. His voice is colder now, sharper, like he's covering something up. Get back to work. You nod. Too fast, too eager. Your legs are shaky as you reach for the sponge. He doesn't move for a second, then he's gone. You don't see him leave, but you feel the air change. You hear the footsteps. You let out the breath you didn't realize you were holding. Your skin is still tingling. And worst of all, you want more. They find you that night. Sienna, Beth, and 2 others you don't know the names of. You're curled up on your mattress in the dark when the door crashes open and the light slaps you in the face. You don't even get the chance to sit up. Sienna's already storming down the stairs, heels clicking like gunshots. She doesn't speak at first, she just stares. Then she tosses something at you. It hits your chest and flops onto the floor. A red lace thong. You stare at it. You dropped this, she says, voice all venom and ice. Alpha's office, you know, after your little moment. You don't pick it up because it isn't yours. You've never owned anything like that in your life. She steps closer. Her perfume is thick and sweet, suffocating. You think just because he sniffed you that means something? She hisses. You're nothing. You've always been nothing. Beth snorts. Probably begged for it. You say nothing, because there's nothing you can say that won't be used to beat you with. Strip. Sienna's voice turns to steel. You blink. What? She grabs your arm. Strip. Now. You try to pull back, you shake your head. That's when Beth hits you. It's not hard, but it's fast. The back of her hand cracks across your cheek. You stagger. The mattress gives way under your foot, and you hit the concrete. You taste blood. You push yourself up, slow, careful. Your mouth throbs. You gonna make this harder than it needs to be? Sienna asks. Her voice is low, calm. That's worse, because when she's calm, she's cruel. You stand. Your hands tremble as you peel off your shirt. They laugh. When you drop your pants, they mock you. You feel exposed, humiliated, raw. You try to focus on the wall, on anything but the eyes crawling all over your skin. On all fours, Sienna says. Your heart slams against your ribs. You hesitate. That's all it takes. She shoves you. You hit the floor hard. Your knees scrape. You don't fight. Because if you fight, it's worse. She leans down, whispers against your ear. You want to be a dog? Fine. Sleep like one. The leash wraps around your throat. You didn't see it before. It's not just symbolic. She clips it, and then she pulls. Hard. You choke. Your hands fly to your neck, but she's already dragging you toward the corner. Toward the crate, the dog cage. You start to panic. Your body jerks, trying to fight. But she's stronger than she looks, and she's not alone. Beth grabs your arms. Someone grabs your legs. They shove you in. It smells like rust and fear. The door slams shut. Locked. Enjoy your night, Luna. Sienna sneers. They leave. They laugh as they go. You sit in the dark, curled tight, naked and shaking. Your cheek stings. Your knees bleed. Your throat is raw. But it's not the pain that breaks you. It's the silence, the way it wraps around you, suffocates you. And then deep inside a growl. Not your own. Something else. Something older. You hear it in your head like a whisper in fire. Not yet, but soon. Chapter there. Claimed, then rejected. You knew something was wrong the moment he said your name. He never used your name. Calla, come. Just that. No tone, no warmth, but your feet moved anyway, like they belonged to him before you did. You didn't ask where you were going. You knew better. His silence stretched across the corridor, heavy like fog. He took you outside the pack house, into the woods, and then his cabin. You'd never been this far out. No one had. The door creaked open, and for the first time in years, you felt heat. Actual heat. There was a fireplace burning low inside. The cabin was simple, clean, wooden floors, thick blankets, soft rugs, too soft for someone like you. He said nothing as he gestured to the bed. You stood frozen, his jaw clenched. Take off your clothes. You blinked, thought maybe you heard it wrong. But you didn't. You didn't move, not fast enough. So he did it for you. His hands yanked your shirt over your head, tore your pants down in one swift motion. You gasped, arms wrapping around your chest, not out of modesty, but instinct. Fear. His eyes ran over your skin like heat and ice together. His wolf stirred behind his gaze. You could feel it pressing just beneath the surface. He stepped closer. Don't hide. You didn't know what he was looking for. Weakness, obedience, shame, maybe all of it. Then his hands touched you. They didn't ask. They didn't hesitate. Fingers traced your ribs. Your hips. His mouth found the curve of your neck. You told yourself it didn't mean anything. He didn't kiss like someone who cared. He kissed like someone who was claiming property. But the worst part? Your body responded anyway. Heat bloomed where his mouth moved. A low ache spread through your core. Your knees trembled, and your wolf Leah stirred, half asleep, half terrified. She didn't want this, but she didn't fight it either. Damien's voice was gravel against your ear. You're mine. Then he pushed you down onto the mattress. The sheets were too clean, too soft. They felt wrong under your skin. His mouth followed your throat down to your chest. He didn't whisper praise. He didn't even breathe your name. He just moved fast, desperate like he needed to forget something, and you were the fire he wanted to burn in. When he entered you, you gasped. Not from pain, but from the heat of it, the suddenness. It should have hurt more, but you were wet, ready, shamefully ready, and you hated that. He moved over you like he was trying to erase you. Every thrust knocked the breath from your lungs. Every groan reminded you this wasn't about love. It wasn't even about bond. It was about power. But your body didn't care. You clawed the sheets. You cried out. You looked him in the eyes when you shattered, and he saw it. The moment he broke you. When it was over, you lay there naked, raw, skin slick with sweat and shame. He stood, dressed. Didn't even look back at you. You sat up slowly, covering yourself with a blanket, heart still pounding from the echo of what just happened. Was it real? Was it a dream? You watched him sit on the edge of the bed, hands on his knees, spine stiff. Then, I made a mistake. Your heart dropped. What? He turned his head slightly, just enough to let his next words hit like a blade. You're not Luna material. You stopped breathing. His next words were worse. I reject you. The mate bond snapped. You didn't even know how it worked, but you felt it. It was like being split in two, like someone took your soul and dragged it across broken glass. Leah howled inside you. The sound never reached your throat, but it tore through your chest. He stood, still not facing you. You were good, he said, just not good enough. And then, forget last night ever happened. He walked to the door, stopped, looked back once. Something flickered in his eyes. Regret? Doubt? No, it was nothing. Then he left. The door closed, and the silence that followed wasn't peace. It was the sound of something inside you dying. You curled into yourself, the blanket pulled tight like it could hold the pieces together. But it couldn't, because you weren't broken anymore. You were hollow, empty, and worse. You still wanted him, even as you hated him. Even as Leah whimpered inside you like a wounded thing, retreating into the shadows. The bond was broken, but the scar, that would stay, forever. Chapter 4. A hand reaches out. You don't remember collapsing. One moment, you were standing barefoot, raw, your skin still stinging from his rejection. The next, the world tilted, and the floor swallowed you. You wake up to cold stone under your cheek, a metallic tang in your mouth. Your body doesn't move. It doesn't want to. You're not sure how long you lay there. Minutes, hours. But when the door creaks open, you don't lift your head. You expect Sienna, maybe Reed, or Beth with another leash. But it's not them. It's a different kind of silence. Not cruel, not mocking, just quiet. Boots cross the floor. Then a hand touches your shoulder. Gentle. You flinch, but it doesn't grip you, doesn't shake. Calla, a voice says. Low, steady, Galen. You blink, and the light above him turns his blonde hair to gold. He crouches beside you, eyes scanning your face like he's checking for bruises before checking for breath. Can you sit up? You try. Fail. He doesn't push, just slips an arm under your back and lifts you like you weigh nothing. And you do. Right now, you feel like nothing. He carries you out of the cold basement. You're too weak to speak, too hollow to resist. Outside, the air is sharp. Morning, maybe. Your skin pebbles in the wind. He doesn't ask what happened. He doesn't need to. He just holds you tighter. You wake again later. This time in a room you don't recognize. Not a cell, not a storage closet. There's a bed, clean sheets, a window. You're wrapped in a thick blanket. A tray sits nearby. Bread, eggs, even juice. You stare at it like it's a mirage. You should eat. You turn. Galen stands in the doorway, a clean white shirt hanging loose over his broad shoulders. His face is unreadable, but there's something in his eyes concern, not pity. He walks in slowly, like you're a frightened animal. I figured you'd never come out of that room unless someone dragged you. You don't respond. He sits on the edge of the chair, not too close. I found you outside the Alpha's cabin. That memory slices through your mind like ice. You shut your eyes. His voice softens. You were unconscious. You managed to whisper, why? Why what? Why help me? He exhales. runs a hand through his hair, because no one else will. That breaks you a little, because it's true. He sets a folded bundle beside the tray, clothes, soft, worn in, not new but clean. Eat, shower if you can. You're safe here for now. You don't know what to say. He stands and leaves without waiting for thanks. Later, Dr. Marla arrives. She's older than most of the pack doctors. Sharp eyes, gentle hands. You try to sit up when she walks in. She waves you down. I've treated enough broken bones to know what a rejection looks like. You flinch. She checks your pulse, your pupils, listens to your heart. Then she presses a stethoscope to your chest and pauses. You glance at her. What is it? She tilts her head, thinking. You're not severed. What? The mate bond. It's torn, but not cut. Your throat tightens. He rejected me. I know, but your wolf, she didn't accept it. Your stomach churns. Marla sighs, removes her gloves. That kind of dissonance can damage both of you. Severely. If this continues, it could kill her. And you. You curl into yourself, because something inside you already feels like it's dying. Do you feel her? She asks. You shake your head. Not since that night. Not since the cabin. She's hiding, probably protecting herself. Marla's voice stays calm, professional. But you need to find her again. Soon. You don't ask how, because you already know. Galen returns that evening. He doesn't knock, just slides in with a steaming bowl in one hand and a folded sweater in the other. Soup. You're sitting up now. Weak, but cleaner. The clothes he left earlier hang loose on your frame, but they don't scratch or stink. They feel like kindness. He sets the bowl down. I told Sienna you were in isolation for flu symptoms. Your brows rise. He shrugs. No one questions when I talk, doctor. You stare at him. You could get in trouble. He smirks. Yeah, but it's not the first time. The silence between you stretches, then. You don't have to do this. He studies you. I know. More silence. Then softly, thank you. He nods. Before he leaves, he says one more thing. You're not alone, Calla. Not anymore. And just like that, for the first time in your life, you believe him. Chapter 5, Humiliation and Fire. You should have known it was a trap. When they told you the Alpha ordered your presence at the banquet, you didn't believe it. You thought it was another joke. But Galen nodded. He asked for you. You couldn't figure out why. Why now? After everything? Still, you obeyed. You always obey. The dress Elise gave you was simple, soft blue cotton. Long sleeves, nothing showy, not like what Sienna wore. Not like the dripping silk and glittering claws everyone else would have. But it was clean, and it was yours. You smoothed it down over your hips and walked into the hall like you weren't afraid. You lied. Every step echoed in your head. The ballroom was lit with golds and ambers. People were laughing, drinking. You kept your head down, hands clasped tight in front of you, trying to pretend you couldn't feel the eyes crawling over your skin. You saw Damien. He didn't look at you. Not once. He stood at the center of the room, surrounded by warriors and elders, all of them pretending nothing had ever happened between you. Like you weren't the girl he'd claimed, like you weren't the one he'd thrown away. Then Sienna saw you and smiled. It wasn't just smug, it was surgical. She turned to the table, poured wine into a crystal glass, red, thick, expensive. Then she walked toward you, step by step, like a queen. Oops! That's all she said before she threw the wine. It hit you square in the chest. The cold shock took your breath. The gasp from the crowd was louder. You blinked, couldn't move. She stepped closer, eyes bright with amusement. You should be more careful, she said sweetly. Some of us actually earned the right to be here. You heard Beth laugh behind her. Jace muttered something crude. Reed just watched, smirking. You didn't cry, you didn't move, because you knew what came next. Beth circled around. You saw the lighter too late. The flick of flame, the hiss, and then your dress caught. It was instant. Fire licked up the fabric like it was made of air and kerosene. Heat slammed into your thighs, your hips. You screamed, but not from fear, from something deeper, something buried, something waking. Leah, she didn't just stir, she exploded. Your vision blurred, not from smoke, but from gold. Light poured from behind your eyes. Your hands burned not from the fire, but from something else. Power, raw, untamed, wild. The heat didn't consume you, it became you. You stood as your dress burned away, flames curling up your arms, but not touching your skin. The screams weren't yours, now they were Beth's, because fire leapt from your hands to her shoulder. It didn't stop there. It caught her hair, her back. She fell, rolling, shrieking. Sienna stared frozen for the first time in her life. The crowd gasped. Someone shouted for water. Warriors rushed forward. You didn't move. Leah roared in your blood. She was awake. You were awake, and no one could pretend otherwise now. They locked you in the infirmary that night, not the basement, not the dog cage. The actual infirmary. You sat on the cot, wrapped in a blanket, your skin untouched by any burn. Dr. Marla paced in silence. She finally said, your wolf is awake. You didn't answer. She sighed. Calla, do you understand what that means? You nodded. But the truth? You didn't. Not fully. All you knew was that when Beth lit the match, something inside you snapped, and something else rose. Something golden. Something furious. Galen entered sometime after midnight. He didn't say anything at first. Just stood there. Then softly, I saw what happened. You looked down. She tried to set me on fire. I know. She did set me on fire. He stepped closer. And you didn't burn. You finally met his eyes. His voice dropped. That's not nothing. You didn't want to believe it, but you did, because the fire hadn't hurt. It had felt like being seen. The next morning, the whispers started. The Omega with the fire hands, the golden spark, the cursed wolf, the monster girl. Sienna didn't come near you. Beth was hospitalized, her shoulders scorched, her face half bandaged. You didn't feel sorry. You felt alive. And when you passed Damien in the hall, he looked at you. Really looked. But not with hate. Not with want. With fear. And for the first time, you didn't flinch. You walked right past him. You didn't belong to him anymore. You belonged to the fire, to yourself, to Leah. Chapter 6, Alpha Rivalry. You weren't supposed to be here. Not at this table, not at this banquet, not with a real place setting and your name carved into the wood like you mattered. But you were here anyway, because alpha-Cassien Hale asked for you. You didn't know why. He arrived that morning, silver eyes, clean smile, clothes sharp enough to cut. People whispered about him like he was royalty. He walked like it too. Every step said, I belong. Every breath said, you don't. And then he looked at you. The first time your eyes met, you felt it like being seen through, then chosen anyway. Galen walked beside you into the hall, close enough that his shoulder brushed yours. You thought maybe it was by accident. But then he did it again, and again. He hadn't said much since the fire. But now he kept glancing at you like he expected something to happen. Or someone. And then Cassien entered. The crowd parted for him. His guards stayed behind. He needed no one. Damien was already seated at the alpha table, arms crossed, jaw tight. Sienna perched beside him, perfectly poised, perfectly fake. Cassien didn't look at either of them. He walked straight to you. You must be Calla, he said, voice like iron wrapped in velvet. You stood there, unsure how to respond. Everyone watched. He extended a hand. You didn't take it, but you didn't refuse. He smiled. I've heard stories. Your mouth went dry. Most of them, he added, don't do you justice. The silence was suffocating. And then Damien stood. His voice came from behind clenched teeth. Cassien. Cassien turned slow, deliberate. Ah, Damien. A small pause. Still brooding, I see. The tension snapped like a wire pulled too tight. Everyone felt it. You felt it. But Cassien didn't move. He stayed close. Too close. And you didn't step away. You sat 2 chairs from him at the table. Not beside Damien. Not near Sienna. Galen sat across from you, gaze flicking between you and Cassien like he couldn't decide who to warn off. Cassien leaned over mid-meal and whispered, You've awakened something rare, haven't you? You froze. He didn't wait for an answer. I can feel it from here, like a sleeping storm. You turned to him slowly. You don't even know what you are yet, do you? Before you could answer, Damien's chair scraped the floor. He walked away. No announcement, no goodbye. Just disappeared into the shadows of the hall. Later that night, you stood near the balcony, breathing in cold air. Galen joined you without a word. He handed you a mug of cider. You held it in both hands like it might anchor you. He's not subtle, Galen muttered. Cassien? Yeah. You sipped. You don't like him. I don't trust him. Because he's interested in me? Galen didn't answer at first, then quietly. Because he's not doing it out of care. He wants you because Damien had you first. That made your stomach tighten. You set the mug down. Do you think he's wrong? Galen turned to you, eyes soft but stormy. I think you're stronger than both of them realize. You looked away, because you weren't sure that was true, because you wanted to believe it was. The next day, Cassien asked to spar, not with Damien, with you. You laughed when Galen told you. He wasn't joking. Cassien wants to test your wolf, he said, wants to see what the fire looks like when it's aimed. You didn't agree, but you didn't refuse, because a part of you wanted to know too. Leah hadn't stirred much since the fire, but something about Cassien made your blood prickle. In the sparring ring, he moved like water. You didn't win. Not really. But you didn't lose. When your hand flared with heat and his collar singed, he smiled like he'd been waiting for it, like it proved something he already believed. You're not meant to kneel, he said under his breath. Not to anyone. When Damien saw the scorch mark on Cassien's cloak that evening, he said nothing. But the next day, your room was stripped bare. No blankets, no food, no fresh clothes. A silent punishment. A reminder. You weren't free. You weren't his. But you weren't anyone else's either. And you? You didn't scream. You didn't cry. You just sat there because you knew something they didn't. You weren't a prize. You were a spark. And one day, you'd burn them all. Chapter 7. The Cost of Rejection. You wake with a pressure in your chest. Not physical, not bruises or cuts, but something else. Something that shouldn't be there anymore. The mate bond. It should have been gone. Damien said the words. You felt the tearing. You remembered the pain, but it's still there, like a phantom limb that aches when it rains. Dr. Marla frowns as she reads your scan, her fingers tightening around the metal clipboard. This doesn't make sense. You sit up straighter. What doesn't? She taps the image. The rejection was never completed. Your blood runs cold. What? She looks you dead in the eyes. Kala, the mate bond, you still have it. No. Your voice is barely a whisper. He rejected me. He tried, she says. But your wolf never accepted it. Leah, you haven't heard her in days. Felt her stir. She retreated after the fire, after Damien walked away again. She's hiding, Marla continues. But she's not severed. You stare at the wall. And that means... It means the connection is still live, and it's hurting you both. You wrap your arms around yourself, suddenly cold. Can I survive it? That's the problem, she murmurs. I'm not sure either of you will unless it's resolved. You don't sleep that night. You feel it pulsing under your skin, the bond, like a scar that bleeds when no one's watching. The next day, Galen finds you curled in the corner of the old infirmary, eyes open, heart numb. He crouches beside you, hands hovering but not touching. Kala, he says gently, I talked to Marla. You don't move. She said the bond's not gone. I know. She said, I might be able to help. That makes you blink. You meet his eyes. How? Galen hesitates, then sits beside you. Not too close, but not far. Beta to wolf connections are different. If I link to you mentally, gently, it might stabilize Leah, give her something to come back to. You swallow hard. And what happens if it works? He doesn't look away. Then you'll have a second bond, not a full mate imprint, not unless the moon goddess gives it. But it'll be enough to ground you, maybe even, heal you. You consider it. Then you nod. Okay. It doesn't hurt. That surprises you. Galen takes your hand, just your hand, and closes his eyes. His voice drops to a whisper, a tone so deep it hums in your bones. Kala, let her hear me. You exhale, open your mind, and there, like sunlight under storm clouds, you feel her. Leah, weak, frayed, hiding in some burnt-out corner of your soul. She doesn't trust anyone, not even you. But then, Galen speaks again, not with words, but with memory. You feel what he feels. The night he found you in the snow, the fury when he saw the leash bruises, the quiet pride when you stood tall at the banquet, the guilt deep, unshakable that he didn't save you sooner. And then you feel him, his warmth, his grief, his hope. Leah listens, then she stirs. A whisper, a flame, a single golden flicker in the dark. You gasp. Galen opens his eyes. You felt her? You nod, tears slipping down your cheeks. She's still here. He doesn't smile, but his hand tightens around yours. You're not alone anymore. You think the worst is over. You think maybe, just maybe, the universe is giving you a second chance. And then Damien walks in. The door slams open with the force of a storm. His scent floods the room, pine, smoke, fury. You and Galen both jerk to your feet. Damien's eyes are glowing, not blue, not human. Rex is close, too close. He looks at your joined hands. His chest rises and falls like he's choking on his own breath. What the hell? Galen steps forward, calm, controlled, but there's tension in every line of his body. She needed balance. Her wolf was, I don't care what she needed. Damien's voice is ragged, unstable. She's mine. You flinch, and Galen's eyes go hard. No, Damien, you gave that up. Rex breaks the surface. You feel it before it happens. Damien shifts halfway, bones cracking, eyes wild, not full wolf, but close. He lunges. Galen meets him head on. The crash shakes the floor. You stumble back as claws rake wood, fists connect with ribs. They're not sparring. They're trying to tear each other apart. You scream, stop it, both of you. But they don't stop. Damien's wolf has snapped. Not just out of anger, out of possession, rage, jealousy. And Galen? He's not holding back anymore. They slam into the wall. A light fixture shatters. You cry out as blood splatters across the floor. Then silence. Damien stands over Galen, chest heaving. You think you can take what's mine? He growls. I didn't take anything. Galen spits. You threw her away. You step between them before Damien can move again. Your voice is ice. You don't get to claim me. He freezes. I begged you. I broke for you. I bled for you. You take a step closer, chest heaving. And you called me weak. His face crumples for a second, but you don't stop. You rejected me, Damien. You tore me in half and walked away. You glance at Galen, blood on his lip, eyes steady. I didn't choose this, but I survived it. You turn back to Damien. And now, I choose myself. Rex growls. But Damien doesn't move, because he knows. He lost. Later, when the room is empty, Galen sits beside you again. This time, it's quiet. No battles, no jealousy, just breath. You feel Leah humming behind your ribs, stronger than before. Still hurting, still healing, but there. You whisper, I think I finally understand. Understand what? What it means to belong to someone. Galen looks over, and you meet his eyes. It's not about the bond. You rest your head against his shoulder. It's about who shows up when everything burns. Chapter 8, Bond Reclaimed. You don't hear Damien approach. You feel him. The bond sings before he speaks. That humming pull, that old ache. It's wrong. You thought it was broken. You thought you were free. But when you turn, he's standing in your doorway, blue eyes lit up with something feral. I feel her again, he says. You know who he means? Leah. She's still mine. Your heart stutters. She's not, you say. She never was. He steps in, slow and deliberate. I claimed you. You rejected me. I didn't mean it. You laugh, bitter and sharp. You meant it when you left me bleeding, when you said I wasn't Luna material. He closes the space between you in 2 strides. I was wrong. No. You shove him back with the force of your voice. You were cruel, but his scent is still in your head. The pull is still in your chest. Your wolf is confused, wavering. Leah trembles. Damien reaches out, and that's when it starts. Pain. White hot. Your chest explodes in heat as Leah bucks inside you like she's trying to claw her way free. You scream and drop to your knees. Damien's hands are on you, but they don't help. They suffocate. You're fighting it, he growls. Let it happen. Let her come back to me. She's not yours. You spit through gritted teeth. But she's burning, inside, out. You claw at your ribs, trying to tear the heat away. Flames lick your arms, not from the outside, from within. Your body glows like kindling about to catch. Damien stumbles back. Calla? You hear Leah's voice. Clear, louder than ever. No. Your eyes fly open. Gold floods your vision. The room vanishes. You're standing in fire, but it doesn't hurt. It welcomes you. And across the flames, Leah appears, not as a voice, as a form, towering, golden, glorious. Her fur flows like liquid sun. Her eyes blaze with fury. You are not his, she roars. You were never his. Reality snaps back. The room is ash and light. Damien shields his eyes. You rise, fire curling around your wrists like bracelets forged in anger. He tries to speak. You cut him off. I don't want the bond. He flinches. I don't want your protection. Or your regret. You're still mine, he says, voice trembling. No, you whisper. I'm mine. You walk toward him. He doesn't move. I won't be your weakness. I won't be your secret. His wolf pushes forward, desperate, but Leah steps between you, still glowing, still burning. Damien drops to one knee, not from choice, from power, your power. And Leah speaks again. Reject him. Your chest seizes. You remember the pain from before, the agony of being torn in half. But this time, the knife is in your hands. You look down at him, and you say the words. I, Calla Rivers, reject you, Alpha Damien Thorne. The bond shatters like glass under a scream. You collapse, but this time you don't fall alone. Leah catches you. You feel her fully now, your breath, your fire, your spine. Yours, you wake to silence. Galen is beside you. He doesn't speak. He doesn't need to. You're still alive, still whole. Damien is gone, but his scent lingers, like the last smoke after a fire. And you know something's changed, not just in him, in you, because you're not a mate anymore. You're not a girl on the floor. You're the flame. The rejection didn't kill you. It refined you. Chapter 9, Truth and Strategy. You find the letter in a box that isn't supposed to exist, hidden beneath floorboards in the old archives, behind the crate of moldy ledger books and rusted chainmail. The envelope is unsealed. Your name is scrawled in a hand you haven't seen in years. Your father's. You sit there in the dark, legs folded, heart frozen, and you read. It's short, careful, like he knew someone else might read it. But the truth cuts through anyway. He was poisoned. Viola lied. Your father didn't die in battle. He was silenced because he planned to name you as his heir. You walk back to Marla's office without feeling your legs. The world buzzes. Your breath is shallow. He trusted Viola. He let her in his house, called her sister, and she took everything. His rank, his daughter, his legacy. She told the pack he fell to rogues, told you to get over it. Then threw you in the basement. You don't remember knocking, but Marla opens the door, and you break. Galen shows up an hour later. He doesn't speak. He kneels beside your chair and reads the letter. When he looks up, his face is stone. We tell no one, he says. Not yet. You nod, not out of agreement, out of instinct, because you know what this means. Viola murdered your father, which means Sienna's rise was built on blood. And Damien, he either knew or let it happen. You want to confront him, slam the paper in his face, demand he answer for every bruise, every silent look. But Marla stops you. Timing matters. She killed him. She'll kill you too if you go in blind. You breathe hard. We need proof, and we need allies. You form a plan, not as prey, as strategist. Step 1. Find out who helped Viola. It wasn't just her. You know it. Poison leaves a trail, supplies, disposals, witnesses. Galen assigns 2 trusted warriors to dig into old infirmary logs. You go to the kitchen staff. Most turn their eyes away, but one Mara takes you aside. She used to demand boiled aconite, she whispers. Said it was for wolves with inflamed joints. You stare at her. Aconite. Wolfsbane. She nods. Asked for a lot of it the week before Alpha Rivers died. Step 2. Isolate Sienna. You can't touch Viola yet, but her niece? She's still clawing her way to Luna, and she needs support. Galen arranges a pack meeting. Not official, not public. A training strategy session with several warriors, elders, and healers. You speak. For the first time, not as a servant. As Calla Rivers, daughter of the late Alpha. You tell the story. Not the poisoning yet, but what you survived. The basement, the leash, the fire. You see it on their faces, the slow turn. The shifting tide. Not pity. Respect. Marla steps forward and confirms your wolf's lineage. Leah is a golden wolf, an ancient bloodline, rare, sacred. They can't ignore you now. That night, Damien corners you outside the war hall. You're not surprised. You've been expecting him, but his face, it's different. Less steel, more shadow. I need to talk to you. You stare him down. You've had months. I wasn't ready. Try harder. He hesitates. Then, I rejected you to keep you alive. You blink. What? Viola was going to destroy you. Sienna, too. They were already threatening to challenge the bond. Said you were unworthy. Your stomach twists. So you broke me before they could? His jaw tightens. I thought, if I cast you aside, they'd stop. And did they? He looks away. I couldn't protect you. You laugh. Cold. You didn't even try. I wanted to, but every time I looked at you, I saw what they'd take from me. He steps closer. Too close. I thought pushing you away was mercy. You shove him back. It was cowardice. His voice cracks. I regret it every day. You don't get to. You stare at him tall, broken, no longer untouchable. You don't get to regret what you never tried to fix. Later that night, you and Galen sit over maps. Plotting, not escape, takeover. He studies you like he's seeing something new. What? You ask. You've changed. You smile, sharp and sure. I've just remembered who I was always meant to be. He nods. Then slides a token across the table. It's a ring, the Thorne family crest. It's yours now. You hesitate, then slip it on. It doesn't burn, it fits. The plan is simple. Expose Viola, sever Sienna's support, reclaim your father's legacy. But simple doesn't mean easy, especially when you're up against a woman who spent years weaving herself into the pack's foundation like wrought in stone. It begins with the council summons. You walk into the chamber wearing black, not mourning. Command. Galen flanks your right. Dr. Marla stands at your left. Damien arrives late. He doesn't look at you, but he stands behind you, silent, as if silently offering protection he no longer has the right to give. Viola enters, with grace sharpened like a blade. She doesn't sit, just tilts her chin and smiles like the world already belongs to her. And for a long time it did, until now. I have proof, you begin. Your voice doesn't shake. The alpha of this pack, my father, was murdered. Gasps ripple through the room. Elder Harrow rises, stunned. You accuse, I accuse, no one yet. You hold up the letter. His last message, hidden, unfinished, but enough. You pass it to Marla. Dr. Marla confirmed the toxin was aconite, administered in small doses through his tea. The room tenses. You nod to Galen. He sets down the infirmary logs. 6 days before his death, he says, Viola ordered concentrated aconite, claimed it was for injured wolves, but no such treatments were recorded. All eyes swing to her. She doesn't flinch. That's a lie. Is it? You reply. Because Mara, our oldest kitchen Omega, remembers boiling it, remembers you demanding it be kept secret. Still, she smiles. Circumstantial. Then you take the final step. You set the family ring on the council table. This belonged to my father, found in a sealed box beneath his chamber, along with his last decree. You unfold the second page. Not a letter this time, a declaration, written in your father's hand, naming you as his Luna heir should anything ever happen to him. Silence falls like a guillotine. You step forward. I am not a servant, not a stray, not an Omega. You meet every eye. I am Calla Rivers, and I claim my blood right. Sienna moves first. Enough, she hisses. Her power ripples outward, but it's shaky, desperate. She tries to lunge. You don't even flinch. Because Leah rises before she does. Golden fire bursts from your spine, your aura flooding the room with light so sharp it carves. Sienna collapses to her knees, screaming. Submit, you whisper. Leah growls behind your teeth. Submit or burn. And Sienna does. Viola snarls. Your wolf is a freak, an accident. You tilt your head. No, she's a legacy, the last golden wolf of the river's bloodline. You step toward her. Viola stiffens. The only accident was letting you in our house. She lunges, but she's not fast enough. Damien is already moving. He slams her back against the wall. For a second, you see it. The man he could have been. His hands don't shake. His voice is thunder. You tried to use me to bury her. He growls. But I remember now. Viola spits. You're nothing without me. He glances at you. No, he says. I'm nothing without her. And then he steps aside. He doesn't strike her. You do. Leah surges. One crack of golden fire controlled, direct lashes from your palm and wraps around Viola like a glowing whip. She falls, breathing, but broken. The council doesn't move, because they don't need to. The pack just saw the truth. That night, you're named Provisional Luna, not by tradition, by demand. People kneel, warriors bow, Omegas smile. Sienna is confined. Viola is stripped of title, pending exile. Damien stands behind you, quieter now, not asking to reclaim what was lost, just asking to stay near. Later, when the stars burn high and golden over the treetops, you walk the edges of the territory with Galen. He doesn't say much, just looks at you with something close to awe. What? You ask. You didn't just survive? He says softly. You changed the game? You smile. And this time, you believe it. Chapter 10. The Golden Queen rises. The storm begins before sunrise. Thunder rolls in low like a warning growl across the mountains. Wind howls through the trees, ripping the last golden leaves from their branches. And inside the heart of the dark moon pack, you rise, not to run, to burn. You stand on the Alpha's balcony in silence, cloak snapping behind you like a banner of war. The pack stirs beneath you, some curious, some cautious, all watching. They should. Because this isn't the Kala they remember, not the servant girl, not the girl who begged for scraps, who flinched at every step. This is the girl the fire forged. This is the queen who survived the cage and lit it aflame. Leah paces in your mind, her growl vibrating beneath your ribs. Now, she says, show them. You do. Your voice carries without magic, but it feels like spellwork. I was born beneath this roof, raised in its shadows, beaten in its dungeons. You let the silence land. They called me weak, unworthy, a burden. You step forward. Flames ripple faintly across your skin, golden, steady. But weakness doesn't survive fire. Cowards don't endure cages. Your eyes scan the crowd. You watched me burn. You let the pause cut deep. Now watch me rise. Viola stands before the council in chains. Not silver, iron. She spits on the ground. This is a farce. No, you reply. This is justice. She sneers. You think power makes you righteous? I think truth makes you dangerous. And you've lied long enough. Galen steps beside you. Marla stands behind. Even Damien watches in silence. You don't need his voice. You have your own. When the sentence is declared banishment, stripped of name, exile by dawn, Viola doesn't scream. She doesn't beg. But she looks at you like something lost. Not remorse, recognition. She knows what she created, and it terrifies her. You visit Sienna next. Not because you have to, because she needs to hear it. She sits in the holding cell, stripped of her gowns, her lips cracked, her pride gone to rot. When you enter, she stiffens. I should have killed you. You sit across from her. No, you say calmly. You should have left me alone. She bares her teeth. You think they'll follow you? I don't need followers. I need a future. She laughs bitterly. You're still just an Omega. No, you whisper. I'm a wolf who stopped begging. You rise, turn your back. She won't die today. But her reign did. That night the bonfire roars. It's not for celebration. It's for cleansing. Pack members gather in a ring as you step to the flames. You toss in the torn pieces of your collar, the shredded leash, the charred dress Sienna once tried to burn you in, every symbol of silence, every mark of shame, gone. The flames hiss, crackle, and swallow. When you turn around, they're all watching, even Damien, especially Galen. You speak once more. From this night forward, no wolf will ever beg to be seen. Later, Damien approaches, not as Alpha, not even as your former mate, just a man. Kala, he says, voice low, broken. You wait. I won't ask for forgiveness. Good, you say softly. I'm not offering it. He breathes out. But I meant what I said. I did it to protect you. I know. You look at him. You thought sacrifice meant breaking me. It didn't. He nods slowly. I see that now. He steps back. But I'll still stand behind you, however you let me. You pause, then say, then don't walk in front of me again. Galen finds you on the cliff's edge just before dawn. You're barefoot. The wind is cold. He offers his jacket. You take it. He doesn't speak until you're settled beside him. Are you okay? You smile faintly. I'm something else. He nods. You don't need anyone. You look at him. Steady. But I want the ones who stayed. You reach for his hand. He takes it, and the fire doesn't flare. It settles. The coronation isn't formal. There's no crown, no red velvet carpet, no ancient chants. Only the pack, gathered beneath the bleeding sky. Only the fire, still warm from last night's cleansing. Only you barefoot on sacred ground, standing not above them, but with them. Dr. Marla stands beside you. Galen, a quiet shadow at your shoulder. Damien watches from the edge of the circle. He doesn't try to interrupt, not this time. He knows this moment isn't about him. It never was. The Elder Council kneels, one by one. Not for show, not for power, for acknowledgement. Calla Rivers, rightful heir, golden-blooded, alpha. You don't flinch when they say it aloud. You don't tremble when they press the family seal into your palm. The wax is still warm when you close your fist around it, but your voice? Colder than steel. From today forward, this pack changes. You turn toward the crowd. The caste system ends. A ripple of breath, then silence. No more leash laws, no more collar codes, no more Omega restrictions. You raise your hand. Leah pulses at your back. If a wolf bleeds for this land, they deserve to live with pride, not fear. Some cheer, some just cry, but none object. You visit the basement one last time, alone. The chains still hang from the walls. The dark smell of mold still clings to the air. You reach out. Let your hand brush the brick you once slept against. It's cold, but it doesn't touch you anymore. You close your eyes. Leah curls around your soul like sunlight through frost, and you whisper, "We are never coming back here." The healing is quiet, not like the flames, not loud, but steady. The pack watches you now, but not in fear, in awe. Children whisper your name like a story. Young girls braid their hair like yours half-tied, wild at the ends. Old warriors stand when you walk past, but they don't bow. They nod, because now they see you, all of you. Sienna is gone, exiled with her aunt. No fanfare, no spectacle, just a cart, an escort, and silence. She didn't scream, she didn't beg, because she saw what you became and knew she'd already lost. You passed Damien once in the corridor. He doesn't speak, but this time you do. "Thank you," you say, softly. He stops. "For what?" "For letting me go." He nods once. It's enough. That night, you call Galen to the council chamber. He looks startled when he enters, sees the room empty, lit only by candlelight. He looks at you, your cloak gone, your hair unbound, and then you speak. "I don't want a beta." He freezes. "I want a partner." His chest rises slowly. "Are you sure?" You nod. Step toward him. "I've had enough of people trying to claim me." You rest your palm over his heart. "I want to choose." He takes your hand, then choose. You rise onto your toes and kiss him. Not fire, not hunger, something steadier, like roots, like truth. You dream of your father that night. He stands by the fire pit, arms crossed, looking proud and amused. "Took you long enough," he says. You smile. "Had to walk through hell first." He nods. "You made it yours." You step into the light. "I'm not Luna," you tell him. "I know." He steps back, gestures to the land behind him. "You're Alpha." You wake before dawn. No nightmares, no pain, just silence and strength. The world is still cloaked in silver mist when you slip out onto the balcony barefoot, wrapped in your new robe, not for protection, but ceremony. Your hair spills loose down your back, gold catching the rising light like fire-made flesh. Below, the pack is waking. You feel them through the bond, not the mate pull, not a forced tie, but the web of connection that now threads you to every wolf who stands under your sky. They don't kneel, not anymore. They look up, and they rise. You walk the grounds. No guards, no entourage, just your shadow and the weight of your own name. Everywhere you pass, people pause, not because they're afraid, but because they remember. They remember the leash, the bruises, the way you screamed when they locked you in the cage. And they remember the flames. The fire that didn't devour you only forged you. "Alpha," someone murmurs as you pass. You turn. It's an elder, bent and gray, once Viola's supporter. His eyes are wet. "Thank you," he whispers. You nod once. We heel forward. The old symbols are burned. Cast collars melted and turned into blades, reforged to protect, not control. The dungeon repurposed into a shelter. A school opened for young wolves, especially Omegas. Elise teaches there sometimes, her laugh like sunlight on stone. Beth, still recovering. She avoids your eyes when she passes, but she limps now, not with pride, but guilt. You don't punish her. You don't need to. Beth silences her own fire. You stand at the edge of the forest one evening, the border humming behind you. Cassien Hale visits once, not to flirt, not to challenge, just to see. He watches you train a young girl 10 years old, Omega-born, whose wolf showed early. He stands quiet for a long time, arms crossed. Then before he leaves, he says, "They'll talk about you in places you've never stepped." You look at him. "Let them." He smiles. "Golden Queen." You raise a brow. "Calla is enough." He nods, turns, and leaves. Some stories don't need sequels. Galen sleeps in your bed now, but he doesn't claim it. He never tries to tame the flame. He just lies beside it. Leah likes him. She nudges his palm when he brushes against your skin. Rumbles softly when he presses his lips to your temple. You don't talk about mating. You don't need to. Because this isn't about destiny. It's about choice, about surviving and then living on your terms. You visit your father's grave on the first full moon of the new cycle. The pack follows, quiet, respectful. No one speaks until you do. I used to think I had to earn his name, you say. The fire pit burns beside you, embers dancing in the wind. I don't anymore. You hold out your hand. Golden light gathers in your palm. Leah steps forward, not physically, but close enough the air thickens. You speak again. I am his daughter, but I am not his shadow. You open your fist. The flame floats and rises. That night, young wolves gather around you. They ask questions. What does fire feel like? What does freedom taste like? Do you still dream of cages? You answer gently. Fire feels like truth, you say. Freedom tastes like your own name, spoken without flinching. And no, you say softly, I don't dream of cages. You look around. I burned them all. You receive a letter months later, not from Damien, but from his wolf Rex. It's a single line. Thank you for setting us free. You don't reply. Some goodbyes don't need words. Winter comes. The pack thrives. And one night, beneath the aurora-filled sky, you feel something shift. Leah lifts her head. Your blood thrums, but it's not danger. It's peace. Real peace. For the first time in your life, you are not surviving. You are leading, loving, living. In the mirror, you don't see a victim or a vengeful queen. You see a wolf with fire in her veins and freedom in her spine. You see a girl who was caged, who lit the match, who walked through the ashes barefoot and built a throne from every chain meant to break her. You smile. You whisper her name. Kala. The wind outside answers. She is not a Luna. She is not a weapon. She is not his. She is her own alpha.